Hello, everyone. Welcome back to live Q&A with me, Pam Roussel with Perfectly Holistic. I wanted to say a quick hello to all my friends over on Instagram. How are you guys? And we'll give it a couple minutes to, well, not a minute or so, but for people to start hopping on and joining us live. And if you guys are on Instagram, I am streaming through my phone so I can see your comments tonight and your questions for Q&A. So thank you guys for joining. Hop on. Tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to know where you guys are tuning in from just all over the world. It's really, really cool. So thank you so much. I hope you've had a great week. I know there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. So we're just going to try to keep things light and happy and just give you a little break from the timeline that you've probably been watching for the last several days, if not weeks. So, with that in mind, tell me how you guys are doing and what's new, what's going on with your cats, what are you guys struggling with? Because that's what this next 45 minutes to an hour is going to be all about. So, I'm here to just offer advice, ideas, tips, help. How can I support you as you are trying to do the best for your cats? And our mission here at Perfectly Holistic is really simple. I have a passion for educating and empowering you, the cat owner, to use a more holistic approach for your cat's health and well-being. So there's so much to learn, and there's so much information out there. So you can't learn everything in a day, right? So just a little bit at a time. Follow your intuition, follow your heart, do what you can, do your best, and try not to hold guilt when things go wrong. I think that's also very, very important because things do not turn out so well sometimes, but that doesn't mean it was your fault. You were doing the best you thought at the time. So, and it's all about the learning. It's really all about the journey. So the journeys are going to be hard. Sometimes they're going to be great at other times. So we just have to take those little lessons as we go and just try not to make the same mistakes over and over and over again, like I have in the past. So with that in mind, I'm going to say hi over here to Airplane GX. Thank you for joining us. And Malia in Illinois. How fun. I don't know what the weather is like where you guys are, but it's been really nice and warm here, which I really appreciate. Okay, good. We have our first question. So, says, if there was one supplement you would recommend for a healthy 3-year-old cat, what would it be? I was thinking about taurine. If you're feeding a species appropriate balanced diet, you don't need to add taurine. Probably the best thing would be antioxidant like omega-3 fatty acids, like a salmon oil, a krill oil, algae, herring oil, mackerel oil, something like a fish oil. It can be a combination of different types of oils, like some brands do a combo. But really and truly, even if you're feeding a balanced diet, they add very little, let me rephrase. The AFCO guidelines don't require omega-3 oils in their recipes and in their foods for cats. They require like a plant-based oil. I don't quote me on this. I think it's the ALAs. Anyway, it's a type of fatty acid. But from what I have learned, the omega-3s are always way under what our cats really need. And so you can add something like a food source instead of a supplement. Isn't it great when we can actually use food as a medicine, what was the guy's name? It's not Socrates. I can't think of his name. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Drop it in the comments if you know who I'm talking about. So if you wanted to do as like a food source of antioxidants, then consider adding sardines. You can go to the grocery store and buy the canned sardines and water and give a sardine a day. And they are packed with so much nutrition and beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, essential fatty acids, EPA, DHA. It's phenomenal. And most cats like a sardine. So then you don't have to add an oil, you don't have to add a supplement of some kind. But I would suggest an omega-3 source if I had to choose one. And given that your cat is so young, that's probably what I would do. Sardines have bones. They are tiny, tiny, and they basically dissolve. I don't know if you've ever eaten sardines, but they're tiny fish, and the bones just kind of disintegrate as you eat them. So it's no problems for cats or dogs if you have dogs. There's no problem at all to feed sardines in water. So yeah, go for it. Absolutely. Totally different story if you're talking about chicken or turkey or beef and things like that. So yeah, try sardines. Do a half to a whole sardine a day as just an extra little something with their meal, and there you go. That's my suggestion. Let me say hey to over here, KB Nightingale. Hi, that's awesome. So second question is from Nicole. We have a cat that comes to our home a few times each day. We believe he's a stray. He's not neutered, and he was very scared of us at first. It has been about 6 months now, and he has finally let us pet him. He has also pushed his way in the door and likes to lay down for a nap. I love that. My husband laughs because the cat has a spa-like experience when he comes to our home. I put relaxing meditation music on in the background and pet him to sleep. He also lets us brush him. I bought natural wipes. That is awesome. That is awesome. I think a cat has picked you guys. And how cool is that? He just needed a family. Maybe he was abandoned. He was probably taken care of by somebody, and he was an outdoor kitty, and obviously they didn't take super, super good care of him because he's with you. So I love that. I love that so much. I spoil him, make him your baby. I love it. Let's see. So Malia says, an update on my cat Milo. He had a gash on his leg, and you gave recommendations for the infection last time. He is doing much better. Oh, that's awesome. She says, I'm wondering, though, about potencies of homeopathic remedies for cats. We have another cat that has bad anxiety, scared of his own shadow sometimes. He has been soiling in the house recently, and I have a feeling it is because of a cat visiting our windows at night. Absolutely. I have heard aconite and Staphylococcus could help with this, but not sure on potency. What you could do, there is what they call a repertory, which helps you find remedies based on symptoms or conditions. If you go to abchomeopathy.com, it's right there on their homepage. You can type in a symptom like fearful behavior. And there's homeopathic remedies for fear, which is certainly okay. Aconite is kind of like after there's been a real shocking experience, if there's been a trauma and the animal is in shock, if they're super, super afraid and, kind of shut down, aconite is kind of a reset button, if you will. And generally a 30C potency, from what I have learned, is plenty sufficient. And that works great for most remedy or most situations whenever you're using a homeopathic remedy. When you get into more of a deeper chronic long-term kind of issue, then you can go higher into 200s, 1Ms and things like that. Someone on Instagram says try Ignatia. Ignatia, I know, is great for grief and loss. I'm not sure if I haven't heard it recommended for fear. But again, if you go to the repertory on abchomeopathy.com, you can type in fearful behavior, and then it gives you prompts and asks you for more details. And it makes you kind of think through the process and the behavior and the times of day and things like that. And then it will kind of it's like an inverted triangle funnel. So it's trying to weed out all the potential remedies and then leave you at the very end with the best potential remedies. And then you can look at those and see how they line up. Yeah, if there is a way, now here's the way my brain thinks. The best way to address that situation, if possible, is to prevent the outdoor cat from bothering your indoor cat. So can you close the blinds, close the window, close off access to that particular window at night so that he doesn't get scared? So that he can't see, an outdoor cat in his territory or, close to his home, because that will definitely trigger a cat to mark, because they're trying to put their scent on things and send a message to the invaders that say, stay away, this is my area. They also will do this to help themselves feel safe because they like their own scent. So they put their scent on things to help them feel more comfortable and more grounded and safer and more secure. So if you did find a homeopathic remedy that kind of matches that, lycopodium kind of comes to mind. But again, there could be many, many remedies. And just look through what pops up and try a 30C potency and see how that goes. And probably, give like 3 doses if you're not sure, and see how they're doing, like in a day and a half. Like typically it's a dose every, twice a day, AM, PM, and then maybe the next morning, and just see how they are. And if there's 0 improvement, it's probably not the right remedy. Stop that one, try something else. Unless you know how to muscle test, then you can definitely find the right remedy quickly. And I'm sorry, Gunnar is howling. I don't know why he's upset, but he's upset. So, let's see, what else was I going to answer? Yeah, but try to see if you can prevent your cat from seeing the other cat, or if there's a way to deter the outside kitty from coming into your vicinity or space or whatever. That's okay. She says, unfortunately, we don't have blinds on the windows. Okay, is there a way for you to keep him away out of that room or that area at night so he can't see up there? Perfect. Yeah, great. I'm so glad you can muscle test, because that will help narrow it down really fast. Yeah, but see if you can just maybe restrict access to that window or that space, that room that it's in, since you don't have blinds on it. There's also like some, depending on the severity of the situation, there's motion sensor sprinklers that you can get to kind of, that will come on when a cat you don't want in your yard is coming through, and maybe a couple times of that will keep it away. She says, no, the floor plan is open. Okay, well, you might have to just get creative, Let's see. She also says he has been over grooming for 2 years. I've tried CBD oil and it didn't help. It really varies. I would use your muscle testing to see if CBD would benefit him. Maybe it wasn't the right potency. But again, if we can remove the stressor, which is the cause, that is the key. Because if you can take care of the cause, the symptoms stop. So over-grooming is a sign of anxiety and stress, and it's a calming, it's the way they kind of self-soothe. So again, if there's any way that you can prevent the trigger to begin with, that's ideal. It's not always possible, but you have to just do your best. And you may need to explore putting some kind of a, window covering up just for privacy, and, depending on how far you want to take that, how much you love your cat and how much you need to do it. So I'll leave that answer up to you. Let's see. I had some here. Okay, Nicole says, "Can you recommend a natural dewormer?" Yes, absolutely. There's actually a couple that I like. Um, One of them is Worm X by Feline Essential. I have that at shop.perfectlyholistic.com. Um, I will warn you though, it's an herbal and it doesn't taste super great. So you have to really mask it well in the food. And you might need to divide that dose because it can be a lot of drops. So whatever the daily dose amount is, what you might want to do is just divide it over 3 or 4 different little small snacks or, in the meals so that they really don't taste that. Another dewormer that I like is the Worm Clear by Homeopet, and they sell those. It's a homeopathic remedy blend, and the brand has a lot of different remedies for different types of things. PetSmart, Petco. You can buy it online. Homeopet.com if you want to find their main website, and just look for that Worm Clear. And you have to give it for like 4 weeks, but it's homeopathy. It's easy. You can add it to a snack. You can add it onto their food if you have to. So that's what I like to do, is just something that's easy that a cat is not going to turn their nose up to. If, some cats just aren't fazed by the taste of things and you can mask it pretty well. Or if they're really food motivated, they don't really mind supplements and stuff in their food, but other cats are super, super picky. So that should give you a couple different options. Stormy Steps, how are you? And Mrs. P 2021, how are you guys? Thank you for joining us. Let us know if you guys on Instagram have any questions about cats, our situation. You need some advice, some tips, some help, whatever's going on with your kitty cat these days. That's what we are here to help and support you with. So, okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Oh, I also wanted to share with you guys, if you feed Darwin's raw pet food for your cat, they have a new, I want to say flavor, but it is a flavor. It's a chicken and duck blend. So they have the single chicken, turkey, beef, and now they have chicken and duck. So I'm excited to get that on my next order. My cats like their food. Darwin's is formulated by Dr. Karen Becker, who I absolutely adore and follow and learn a lot from. So yeah, if you're into trying something new, and we also partner with Steve's, we partner with Viva Raw, and we are affiliates with them. So if you want to try their food for, an initial order, you can get discounts. The coupon codes are scrolling on our screen here. So give it a shot, try it out. And if you want to try getting your cat on better diet, that'd be awesome. Okay. Nicole says, should I have our stray cat vaccinated, and which vaccines? And will I be required to vaccinate him if we have him neutered? His eyes are running right now and I feel his immune system is down. I wanted to work on that first. That's a very good question. If it were my cat, I would do a titer test, TITER, titer test first. Go to hemopet.org if you want to get a lower rate than what your vet will charge you, or you can reach out to Kansas State University directly and order a titer test through them. You will need to get a blood draw from your vet and send it to either one of those places. But that way you can find out if he's been vaccinated in the past or if he has not. Because if he has already been vaccinated and he has immunity to these things, then you don't need to revaccinate them. If his immune system feels weak, or if he appears to have some immune system issues, he is not a candidate to be vaccinated because he is not healthy. His immune system is not strong. And when you vaccinate a cat when they're in a weakened condition like that, it will cause harm. It will further weaken their immune system. It could potentially set them up for chronic disease or adverse reactions or all of the above. So, if you wanted to work on his immune system first, if his eyes are running, it could be environmental sensitivity, but that also points back to a compromised immune system on some level. So, given the fact that he's a stray, there's a potential that he could just have the feline herpes virus, right? So, um, you could try a product called Vira X by Feline Essential, and we also have that at shop.perfectlyholistic.com. It is an antiviral natural supplement that helps boost the immune system and keep the flare-ups of viruses down. So you may want to try that and for like a month and see if that helps. And if he's a really good eater, maybe throw in some like a medicinal mushroom type of supplement in the food, which is great for immune modulation, which just means strengthening and helping the immune system get stronger. So you could do that. You could do the sardine trick that we talked about earlier with another kitty. Um, so yeah, maybe some mushrooms. Try the Vira X. Um, Eyes. Does he have any other kind of allergy symptom besides the runny eyes? If he doesn't, like there's no sneezing, no congestion, things like that, there's a homeopathic remedy called Euphrasia 30C. That's awesome for allergies where there's runny eyes. So you could definitely look at give him a few doses, maybe several days, a couple times a day, and just see how he responds and see if that will help clean up the running eyes. But I would definitely look at supporting his immune system. Food obviously is one of your most fundamental things. If you can get the food to be fresh, minimally processed diet, that is really going to help build his gut the best versus dry or canned food. At the very least, wet food to help his gut. And that will help. Like I said, that the proper nutrition is the most foundational thing that we can do for the cats, and then build on things from there. Um, will I be required to vaccinate if we have him neutered? I'm going to guess probably so, because I hear a lot of vets do that to people. I was reading my newsletter from Dr. Will Falconer. You guys all need to follow him. If you go to vitalanimal.com, vital.com, if you follow him, get on his newsletter list. He sends like one email a week, and he has so much good information. And this last week, he sent one, and he talked about that very practice about vaccinating a pet while they're under anesthesia, and how so contradictory that is for a pet who's receiving vaccines. It's not good. And I definitely don't agree with that practice either. And I always would say, no, absolutely not. You're not vaccinating my cat while they're under anesthesia. So I would say, if you have to vaccinate them, do the titer test and just check. Then do one vaccine at a time. Do the FVRCP if you can, and then if they require you to do the rabies, wait 4 weeks, then do that one. I would do vaccine detox, because those vaccines have nasty things in them, including heavy metals and chemicals and probably formaldehyde and detergents and God knows what else, probably feline kidney cells. I mean, it is incredible, and it's disgusting. That helps remove all the toxic stuff out of their body after you do a vaccine. And then you want to help restore their gut. So, oh, look who's here. Jay Kennedy. How are you? I miss you, my friend. So, okay, where was I? In Cat Behavior Alliance. Hi, ladies. How are you guys doing? So, anyway, back to your question about if you're gonna have him neutered, check the titer if he needs a vaccine, one at a time, 4 weeks apart, plan to detox, and then do the neuter. Like, get him healthy first and then do that. So that way you are not putting additional stress on a body that's going under anesthesia and having surgery, because surgery is surgery, people. It's stressful for the body. I don't care if it's a simple thing or a more complicated thing. Thank you, Jay, for sharing Vira X. I wonder who makes that product. It's such a good product. And Lori Christina's here. Hi, how are you? Okay, so let's go to Love Is says, I eventually want to get my cat on a raw, slightly cooked diet. Uh, well, there's gently cooked and there's raw. Gently cooked is just gently cooked. It's like maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes on a really, really low temperature. Take your raw food, put it in the dish or whatever, and just low heat, 5 to 10 minutes. It's like starting to partially cook, but it's not so fresh and raw. It's still very, very, very good. So yes, you could do that. He's on wet food now. Is there something I can do now that would make it easier to transition him later? You know what? You could simply start with adding a little bit of the new stuff into his current food. And if he's taking to it well over, maybe the course of a week, you could be totally onto a new diet. So try it and see, even if you just wanted to buy a commercial, like go buy a small bag of something that's frozen at your local independent pet store. And I love supporting independents, guys, because they need our support. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Support your local independent pet store instead of the big box stores. But take like a half a teaspoon, a quarter teaspoon of whatever that raw food is, defrost just a little bit at a time, and just mix it into the current wet food, and just more and more of the new as he likes it. As long as there's not any runny stools or diarrhea, things like that, just go slow. And Dr. Becker suggests that if your cat does develop like a runny stool or something like that, just wait a day or two until their stool's normal again before you increase the new stuff again. So that's very good advice. But yeah, you can do that. There's no like magic formula. You just have to jump in and do it, and don't be afraid. Okay, just go with the pace of the cat. If he's like gung-ho and loving it, you might surprise yourself, and it might be really easy. And then it might be harder. Some cats just take a little bit longer. Just be really patient and go with their pace, but don't give up. Absolutely don't give up. You can do it. Hi, Jamie. So Jamie says, any suggestions on how I can stop my baby cat, Zebby, from using my other cat, Willow's litter box? Zebby recently started doing this, and now Willow is going outside the box. Willow was the runt. They're sisters and has anxiety. I have fell-away plugs throughout the house, but I need advice on how to get Zebby to play nice. It sounds like Zebby is the dominant personality. Is that right? Do you have more than one litter box? I think you said you probably have 2. You might need 3, because typically it's like 1 per cat plus an extra one, so that Zebby can have 2 choices or 3 choices, and your other kitty, Willow, can also have 3 choices. And you may want to put them in different areas, spread them out, and make sure that like it's not in an isolated area that there's only one escape, because it sounds like Zebby might be a little naughty sometimes, and if she is stalking her little sister, or pouncing or whatever, chasing her and stressing her while she's in the litter box, you need to make sure that is in an area that is not going to she's not going to feel trapped in that space. And she can have easy to get away if she needs to. Fell-away plugs, just know that they're synthetic, and they work on some cats and they don't work on other cats. There's a product called Cat Calm. Hello, Feline Essential once again. that is an herbal blend of what, 70 plus herbs and plants. It's amazing. Um, it's great for helping to provide more calm. Um, let's see. You may have to do a little bit of work now. Cat Behavior Alliance is here, and if you don't know them, this would be a really good case to do a consultation with these ladies and talk to them about this whole setup and see if they have some additional advice, because they probably deal with this all the time. Um, I'm an energy person, so if you wanted to do some energy work for Zebby to like calm down and not be so jealous, it sounds like, of the little one, that also helps clearing dysresonance and energetically can do that. But I'd say look at resources, make sure Zebby's not trying to guard the resources, and make sure you have plenty of options. And that's probably the best place to start, and just look at your setup, you know. And then, build some confidence with Willow. The one-on-one confidence building sessions with a wand toy, go in a place just for her and you, nobody else in a room, and just play like 15 minutes. And just, it really, really helps them build their confidence as they hunt and chase and catch and, stalk and all that good stuff. And it's exercise, it's bonding time. So do that do that at least once a day for a while, and that will help her psychologically and emotionally as well. Um, Let me see. Cat Behavior Alliance says, what do you think of freeze dried raw? I like freeze dried raw. It's an awesome option, but I will tell you, it is the most expensive form of pet food on the market. So if you are looking for just an option to replace kibble or something crunchy, or like a snack, like treats, like I use the freeze dried and crumble it on top of the food as a topper. But I also will play games. So they're like little pebbles, and we'll just throw, and the cats run after it, and they play and they chase and they catch their food. So that's just kind of an extra thing. I don't really use it as a rehydrator because I use other foods instead with the raw. But explore, just play around. But that's kind of, just know that it's the most expensive option, and you can find, depending on what your needs are, and what you've tried, and are you willing to go with the gently cooked as a stepping stone, maybe to raw or something else. So I guess what I'm saying is, if I had a little bit more background on the question, I could probably go a little bit deeper. So I hope that helps at least. Okay, so there's a question over here from Love Is. Okay, let me see if I've got she says, can you recommend a flavor? And let me go back up to your question. I think you were talking about the raw food. You know what? Pick a flavor that your cat already likes. So if the food that you're feeding is a turkey or a beef or a combo, then find something that is the same, so that they're more likely to accept a protein that they already like, if that makes a lot of sense. So I wouldn't go too exotic right away unless you have just a really highly food motivated cat that will eat anything. But that's really that's the best place to start. Do something that's already familiar with them. Let's see. Nicole Romano says, can you recommend a good probiotic? I have used Vital Nutrients for myself, and they offer a pet product line. Are there better products out there? There are a lot of good probiotics out there for cats. And I know that Feline Essential, hat tip to you guys one more time, they have a probiotics for cats in their line. Again, we have that at shop.purrrfectlyholistic.com under Get Health. Adored Beast has several probiotics. One is soil. Actually, I have two. I have Soil Based by Thorn. I have a Thorn probiotic product that is soil based, which is awesome. Adored Beast has some good options. I also carry one by Herbsmith called Microflora. Are you looking for something that does not have digestive enzymes in it? So just a probiotic. If so, then go with something like the Thorn probiotic, the Soil and Sea by Adored Beast. And I don't remember if the other Adored Beast product has enzymes. Um, check their website for sure. It just depends on what your needs are. I like using digestive enzymes for cats. You can't support the gut enough and the whole digestive process enough. Now, one little word of advice that I've learned from, again, Dr. Karen Becker, giving a probiotic constantly all the time is not really good for the body. We need to take a break from things because they become, um, in terms of probiotics, you just end up replacing the same strain of bacteria over and over and over and over and over. And it can actually create gut dysbiosis, which is a whole imbalance of the gut flora, which we don't want. So if you're trying to address a specific reason for using a probiotic, do it for a couple months and then stop, take a break. And if you want to just rotate in intermittently, maybe once or twice a week, throw in a probiotic. You certainly could do that, but a cat doesn't need to be on a probiotic daily for every day of its life. So just know that. And then it's also good to rotate brands. So they're all going to have different strains, different quantities, so that you get a little bit more variety. So definitely don't just hook into one product all the time. If you're going to do probiotics, rotate your brands. Read the labels so that you know what's in there and compare it to the one you're interested in doing next and make sure they don't match. They're going to have some overlap, but make sure they don't match exactly. So you're getting some variety, if that makes sense. Okay. Are you supposed to hydrate the freeze-dried and dehydrated food when you give them as treats? I think they're drying out my cat's poops. Yes. So, well, not the air dried, not well, there's a difference between air dried and freeze dried and dehydrated. So typically it's like the freeze dried and the dehydrated. Yes, rehydrate those because cats need moisture in their diet. They don't get it in the wild from the water bowl. They get it from their prey. So the same idea, feeding the fresh raw food, they get the moisture that they need. It's called intracellular moisture, and it's from the food itself. That's why you don't see cats on raw food drinking a lot of water out of the water bowls unless there's something else going on. But definitely rehydrate that. If you're going to use it as a meal, then it needs to be dehydrated, not fed dry. You can rehydrate it with water, with bone broth, different flavors of bone broth, and they do make some really good bone broths. Like Crude Carnivore is one. There's Primal. There's Green Juju. I think they have bone broth. I think they have bone broth. Small Batch has a really good bone broth. There's a lot of really good bone broths out there for pets. Yeah, so definitely try to rehydrate that as much as you can, just for that reason. We got to support their kidneys. Okay. And if cats don't have enough moisture in their food, they will get constipated and their poop's too hard. And that's not comfortable either. So yeah, probably just needs to add some more moisture in their diet. If you're adding the moisture and they're still having that, it might just be a lack of fiber. So keep that in mind as well. She ordered from Crude Carnivore. Cool. Yay. Okay, let's see. Am I live every Thursday? The first Thursday of the month, I do this. So you can hop on, but we have several lives throughout the month, different subjects, radio show, different events and things like that. So this is just the Q&A podcast or whatever you want to call it. Okay, Lori Christine says colon rescue from Animal Essentials helps to promote healthy digestive tract. Yes, it can help with diarrhea and constipation. I used it for my cat Nick this week. It worked great. Yes, colon rescue is slippery elm and marshmallow root, I believe. Um, let's see. I'm just read it because I know there's another one that has yucca. I think maybe that's healthy gut. Is that what we're looking at? Hang on a second. I want to make sure. I'm going to go look it up. Hang on. Colon rescue. Yeah, colon rescue. Colon. Yeah, I think this is and it comes in a powder and a tincture, guys. It is slippery elm, marshmallow root, licorice root, and plantain leaf. Yes, all excellent, alcohol-free distilled water and glycerin. It's awesome product. Definitely. Okay. Laurie says, our cats are so tuned into our emotions and energy. Nick started to feel unwell at the same time that I had a stressful news on Monday morning. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe, but maybe not, because what you said is very, very true. And we talk about energy a lot here at Perfectly Holistic and on all of our shows and our platforms and things like that. Energy is the foundation, just like food. It's everything. So and our cats are little energy sponges, so they will take on whatever emotions we are putting into our environment. It's called quantum coherence. They pick up on energy from us, and whatever they're feeling, we can pick up energetically, whether we know it or not, because our energies are blending, they're melding together. So, yes, it's very possible that it was just taking on emotions and that had an effect on how he felt and caused some symptoms, or there's a possibility that his body was already out of balance somehow and just needed an extra point, and it could have been coincidence. But the older I get, the less I believe in coincidences. From everything I'm learning, there really is no coincidence. It's happening on purpose for a reason. So the most important question you can ask is why? Why is this happening? So I like the way you're thinking there. She says, I also have been feeding Nick just canned turkey and organic canned pumpkin. I will start feeding him raw again later this week. Yeah, that's good. Do you mean like canned turkey, like human food, or canned turkey cat food? I don't know quite what you mean about that. Probably the turkey cat food, right? With a little bit of pumpkin in it, and then go back to your raw. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just even if you just did it for a few days, and you can still continue adding the colon rescue into the raw food. So absolutely. Yeah, cat food. I kind of figured that after I was saying it out loud. Like, I think that's what she means. All right, Instagram people, anybody over here have any questions? All the guys over here, the ladies here on YouTube are really rocking it today with questions. This is fun. Anything else? Anybody else having cat issues? Anything else going on? Okay, let me go back and make sure I didn't miss any comments up here. Let's see. Hang on a second while I look. Okay. Okay. I think that's it. I think I'm caught up over here. And oh, by the way, Jamie, the ladies over here at Cat Behavior Alliance, says they do deal with those behavior issues all the time. she that's not an uncommon topic for them to deal with. So they could definitely give you some insights. Lori says, I will always keep a bottle of the colon rescue on hand from now on. Yeah, it's really good. It's just good stuff, you know? Um, let me think if there was something else that we have added. Oh, this is new. Pet Medela has 2 new testing kits. If you want to do some bioresonance testing, they have a testing kit for just to help you find remedies for whatever problem, so you don't have to get the entire full Monty report, with the recommendations in it's like less than half the cost if you just do a sensitivity scan and figure out you just want to know what the sensitivities are, and then there's a remedy scan so they can just do the remedies that your cat needs based on their hair tissue and saliva test that you submit. So it's like 133 instead of 275. So if you're more if you just kind of want to streamline the process and just tell me what to do, that might be a great option for you guys. And so we have those links in our shop.purrrfectlyholistic.com if you're interested in doing any of those tests. Okay. Nicole says, I have been cooking gizzards and chicken hearts for our stray cat. I use it as a topper. How much is a good amount to give? Well, that's those in and of itself isn't going to be a complete diet. So my question is, what apart from those, what else are you feeding the stray cat? Like, what's its regular food? What does that look like? What does a regular meal look like? I'm not a nutritionist or a formulator, so I don't really know like amounts to tell you. But if you just, even if it was 10% or 20%, I know that they've seen in studies, if even if you replace 20% of the typical processed food bowl and replace it with fresh food like your raw or gently cooked, that adds so many benefits and can totally shift health in a positive direction. So I would say maybe 20%. I'm gonna. So that's my answer. I would say no more than 20%, just so that you know that it's the majority of the meal is balanced. So that's what I would say. 20% of the bowl. But I love that you're doing that. And it's kind of fun to try certain like new things with your cat and let them have an experience that's totally different. Let them smell different things. Even if it's not really a food, like say you're chopping vegetables or fruit or something, if you just offer it to them and let them smell it, it's something different. It's new. It's not that they're going to want to eat it necessarily, but I think it's cool to just give our cats new experiences when we can. It's just it's enriching to life, right? Instead of the same old stimulation all the time, whatever we can do to kind of shake that up a little bit and make it fun. That's really cool that we can do that. Okay, let me see. What time is it already? Gosh, it's almost 8:00. I cannot believe we've been here for almost an hour. Does anybody have any last things before we wrap up? I'm about to lose my voice. But I will continue if anybody has any other questions. Let's see. Anybody else over here on Instagram? I love that you guys are here, and it's great when there's only one of us doing a live, then I can set up the phone and watch your comments over here. It's harder to do that though when we're doing a guest or streaming, because we're streaming through a platform and we can't see your comments. So apologies for those instances. Okay. So I wanted to say hi over here to Lita Cat Lady 83 and Jim Asher 8. Thank you guys for being here. And again, if you have any quick questions before we wrap up the show, cat struggles, cat advice, cat tips, food, behavior, you name it, energy work. What do you want to, what else do you want to know? There's so much we could talk about. Okay, let me think what else. Next Thursday, I'm just going to take this time here to make a little announcement. Next Thursday night, you guys join us on these platforms. We're going to have a guest. The creator of Mind Pet Platter is going to be here to talk about how our cats eat and what they eat on and how that can benefit them or is causing detriment. How you're feeding really does make a difference. So join in next Thursday night. It's Thursday night. So next week, this time, and we'll have a live show with her. She's awesome. Okay, so Jim Asher says, I have a quick question for my mom's senior cat. She's 15 and having liver problems. I guess what you mean by that is her liver enzymes are elevated. Is there anything else showing up on blood work that's out of alignment? If not, then she probably just needs liver support. If you think about it, the liver is the primary detox organ that filters all the waste out of the blood and then goes through the detoxification process and pushes it back out through the lymphatic system to be removed. And as we get older, and just through day-to-day life, through environmental, through foods and everything else that we're exposed to, our livers can get sluggish, and they lose their ability to function so well. So it's being that she's 15, maybe she's never done any kind of liver support or detoxification. Chances are it's just the fact that she's a little toxic and she needs a little support. So get the full picture. I know you're waiting on the blood work. See what else is out of alignment, and obviously those like whatever issue is like the big issue that comes up, definitely look at that. But liver, there's a difference between just liver support and doing some really good detoxification work. And depending on the severity of what it is that's going on, that's causing the liver enzymes to be out of whack. So like sometimes it's a digestive disorder, and it could be other, health issues going on. There's a lot of things that contribute stress to the liver. Toxins build up from food, from environment. If the immune system is compromised really severely and the liver enzymes are up, something like glutathione might be warranted. In other cases, she just might need some really good detoxification, and that can be done. I don't know if she's had a lot of vaccines over her life, if she's indoor or outdoor or whatever, but I do have a vaccine detox program available on my shop site under Vaccine Detox that walks you through the whole detoxification process, starting with lymphatic support, moving into targeted liver support, targeted vaccine support, and then heavy metal and chemical detoxification steps. And it takes at least 3 months to go through it. So you have to really take your time. Too much protein contributing to liver support? No, I wouldn't think so, because number one, cats are obligate carnivores. So there's really not, that doesn't really line up, in my opinion, with what you're asking about. They need good quality protein, even as older cats. So don't let anybody tell you to decrease their protein levels. And that's really more in cases of like vets will say, oh, she's got kidney disease, we have to start decreasing the protein. No, she needs the protein or she's going to get really skinny and waste away and lose all her muscle mass. So you might need to look at things like providing a phosphorus binder, limiting the phosphorus in her food so her kidneys don't have to work as hard to remove the phosphorus. That can weaken things. But there's so many good ways to support the kidneys if that's the issue. Is the kitty indoor or outdoors? because that can definitely contribute to more liver stress if there's outdoor exposure to things like herbicides and pesticides and flea treatments and things like that. Um, so yeah, look and see what else is going on, but then maybe she just needs some good detoxification, lymphatic support and then liver detox for like a month. Put her on something like, I don't know, detox blend. Animal Essentials has detox blend, liver defense. Again, depending on what okay, indoor. She might just need liver detoxification, liver support like that. I would look at detox blend or liver defense and probably do it 4 to 6, maybe 8 weeks, depending on how severe those levels are. And if you could really trace down like into the nitty gritty on why it's out of balance, like if it's really way off, there's always a reason. There's always a reason why something is out of balance. And if you have a really, really good vet that will dig in to find those reasons, that's who you want to go with. You could also look at working with energy practitioners, kind of like what I do, to really look at things through the lens of frequency and energy. That's it just adds more information to the puzzle, helps you find things from a different perspective. So you could look at that. Okay, one more question here from Nicole. Should I also add extra fiber to his diet? I'm trying to heal his gut and build his immune system up. Well, here's what I think. There's always a necessity for a fiber source in your cat's diet because the fiber is food for the probiotics. So it's like it's prebiotic fiber that feeds the little gut flora, the healthy gut flora in the microbiome. And if you don't feed them, they die and your microbiome crashes. So we don't want that. So adding a source of fiber, whether it's already in the recipe that you're using, whether that's canned or frozen or like the raw or the gently cooked, make sure you are adding a fiber source. And you know what else? It's good to just add additional, like if you wanted to chop up some broccoli, literally mince a 1/4 teaspoon of broccoli sprouts or some kale or some other cooked squash. You could do different types of squash. You could add coconut chips. There's just like little extra things. We don't want to make them constipated, but just adding little bites, again, it just helps diversify the microbiome and provide fiber source. So yeah, play with it. Try not to get so tunnel vision into just one source all the time. It's good to mix things up. Okay. All right. Well, guys, this has been fun. I hope it was informative, and I always enjoy talking with you guys. So until next week, don't forget, join us next week, Thursday night, 7:00, same time. We'll have another really great show with more cool information on how we feed our cats. So until then, you guys have a great rest of your evening and a great rest of your week. Happy Friday tomorrow, and we'll talk to you soon. So thanks, everyone.